Good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is your girl, Ross Silk, and I am back with an informal sister to sister, but nevertheless an important one. I'm happy to be joined by my girl, Amanda.
What's happening?
Sabrina. I know the teacher will be jumping in, and you know I never do this without the one and only Mr. LP. So we're thankful that you decided to tune in for this special edition of Sister to Sister. And I'm not even gonna play around with it, Amanda. I'm gonna come. Let's talk about this list, sis. Let's talk about this list. I
Woo!
mean, I thought that when I first seen the video with the cheesecake girl, I'm gonna call her, that took me kind of to the top of the cliff.
Mhm.
But then when I started seeing these lists that was coming out, and I got a truth and transparency, your girl Raw Silk is getting ready to be 61 years old in a couple of weeks. What is going on?
71?
First of all,
70?
say what?
Go ahead, Amanda.
Tracy, you turning 71? I was so happy.
No, see, we're not
Look
even
that
about to play
damn
with Miss
good.
Ross Silk like that. We're not even about to do that. 'Cause first of
You look
all, we
so
already know
dang
that is
good.
not what we're doing. So we're gonna come correct.
Exactly.
That skin regimen is
She
good.
said she's about to be a wonderful, beautiful 61, okay? And we all know black does not crack.
Not crack.
So
Thank you.
let's be very clear.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yes, this list has has gotten me up in an uproar because first of all, my thing is you got women putting together a list of things that they say they do not want to, or places they do not want to go for a first date. So my question is, well, where is the list of places that you do want to go? Because I'm sure the men out here are thoroughly confused. Because I'm sure confused, and I am a female. And on top of that, the whole thing started with the girl saying that she was too good to go to Cheesecake Factory, yet she actually was going to go somewhere else, but she was late for her own damn date. So it's like,
Like 2 or 3 hours late. Look, that
so
brother was good because he sat down in the car, okay, and waited. I don't know not many men that would have sat around and waited that long for
let's be
nobody.
very clear. Ain't no black man doing that. A
Is that
black man would have
hello?
left your ass and be like, you know
Okay,
what?
a long
She's
time
late.
ago. Hello.
I'm out. So no. Like, and then you get mad because he made an effort to still take you somewhere when he could have just said, you know what, the hell with this, I'm out. First of all, you was late and you got me waiting. You lucky he wanted to take you anywhere after that.
I
Any
totally,
black man,
totally agree.
not doing that. Not
Mr.
doing that.
LP, 2 hours waiting for a date. You got reservations. What say you?
If it was a date with a woman that looked like you, maybe, or Amanda or something like that, I probably would. But outside of that, no. And things and stuff like that, or Sabrina, the women, if it looked like the women here on this panel, hey, I would wait. I'll wait a whole
There
day.
is no
But
way. Listen, I ain't even expecting nobody to wait for 2 to 3 hours
no,
or whatever.
Never.
Like, the thing that made me laugh, and then I'm gonna come to you, Sabrina. The thing that made me laugh, right, is so we got all of this voluptuous, tatalicious, and a girl like me can't go here, and a girl like me or whatever. Then a girl like you that should be accustomed to what reservations mean should be on time. Okay, number one. Number two, there won't nothing that she had on that indicated that she was going fine dining. Okay, number two, or that it took you all of those hours to get ready. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Bria,
No,
to you, what you got to say?
let me tell you, I raised three sons. I'm gonna say four. If either one of my sons would have told me that they waited for a broad for 3, 4 hours, and then she said she too good for Cheesecake Factory, I promise you, I'd be putting a pin on her location, and I would have told them to leave her. Leave her. She ain't nobody that good.
Yeah.
Nobody. That was ridiculous. That was
I
past
think the thing
ridiculous.
about it is, I think Amanda raised a good point when we're talking about, okay, a list of things not, no place to take. Okay, so I always like to use my own testimony. Okay, so I've been married now for 15 years. Okay, and my first date with my husband was based on a conversation that I had with him that of my passion and love for M&Ms. Okay, I told him that I go Eminem crazy, right? And so my first date was at the M&M store on 42nd Street, Times Square. Didn't even know they had one, but the fact that meant so much to me because number one, it meant that A, he was listening,
Mhm.
and B, he cared enough to take me somewhere that he knew was my passion. Okay. And I mean, if you ever been to the M&M store in New York, it is like a chocolate paradise. Okay. And then they have M&Ms that they don't even sell anywhere, and you can mix your flavors or whatever. I got to see the Swarovski crystal um jacket with all of the different colors of diamonds and stuff for M&Ms, right? Now to some that may seem really really cheesy, right? But during that time,
No.
we were able to talk and to laugh and to share, and I was able to kind of let my guard down because number one, I was in a public space, so I felt completely safe. But then number two, all I kept thinking about is he was really paying attention to my likes, my dislikes, my non-negotiables. I mean, it started real easy from the time that we got out of the cab and got to 42nd Street. The lady was up there selling red roses, and he was like, I would buy her roses, but she doesn't like red roses. And I was like, he's really, really been listening. And so that date meant a lot to me. My second date was at Prospect Park, a picnic. Amanda, what, like, I know that I'm older, but what is going on the dating scene these days?
Listen, apparently the dating pool got pissed in it because I do not understand this generation of dating nowadays. You know, one thing that you said it was very important is your partner listen. So my thing is, are people not having conversations or dialogues about what they like and what they expect? Because apparently, to me, this is what this list is showing: is we're not having conversations with one another about what we like and what we expect. And I think people need to start doing that because you can save people a lot of trouble and a lot of time by putting your expectations out up front because either the person can meet them or they can't, right? So why are you wasting time? If you know that you are
I
not a
agree.
cheesecake person, that should have been understood in a conversation prior to going out on a date. Like,
Totally,
let's be
totally
clear.
agree.
Relationships now to me seem like they're more transactional versus, actually going with the person because you like them.
That's a good point. And we're joined now by Miss Teachy. And so, Teach, we're talking about this list. I'm gonna go to Sabrina and then I'm gonna come back to you. Okay, go ahead, Sabrina.
Okay.
Sabrina, can you hear us? Okay, I'm gonna come back to her. So, Teachy, tell me, what was your thought on this list?
Well, let me be honest. I've not seen the list.
Okay.
I've only seen bits and pieces of, it first started when you go to Cheesecake Factory on a first date. And I really didn't pay it any attention until, after having more conversations with folks. And I'd have to agree with everything you all are talking about, folks. So we're not talking to each other up front before, and letting each other know what are your expectations. If it's just a date, it's just a date. We're going to go out, we're going to have dinner. Or, even if you're allergic to cheesecakes, you should let somebody know
Let
these,
me
these,
know.
these are health
Exactly.
concerns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, that's a good point, Mr. LP. I'm coming to you because if you a couple of years ago, ladies, I was on a show as a co-host with Coach Ellis, okay, Crumb, on it was called The Rules. And one of the things that we talking about was not only knowing yourself, but like Amanda said, knowing what your negotiables and your non-negotiables are and being able to communicate that. And that I found that, I happen to be in that relationship now where the prayer was always that I could be 100% raw self. I didn't have to change myself. I didn't have to negotiate, who I was. And so Amanda's point is well taken that it's the conversations are not being had. And one of the things that happens is when you don't have those conversations initially and then you try to have them after the fact, you run into problems. You cannot change the rules of engagement midstream into a relationship. Like perfect scenario, you can't say that I'm just looking to date, I'm not looking for nothing serious, and then you get serious, but the person that you're trying to be with now is still on playtime. If however you set this thing up, whatever conversations that you initiated for it, they're gonna go. And so this is where you run into all of that problem because one person done changed the rules of engagement. Mr. LP, you wanted to chime in.
Yeah, I had a few things. This just reminds me of a video I did about maybe 10, 12 years ago about coupons, just the foolishness that people get mad about coupons if you go on a date, but then all you see every day now in the last 10, 12 years, you're doing stuff on your apps to get discounts. So I don't see the difference. I think also just exposes what men in general have been going through to a light of dating out in this world, that you even see women who are good women who are not like this, but they're doing this because A, that's what their friends are doing, and B, that's what goes on out there. And also, I think that the music that we've been listening to, because we have not been checking, and when people like me as a guy that speaks out, all they look at is just a guy that's saying something without actually paying attention. You rather shoot the messenger, that we got to stop this music. And now we've had a generation, they feel that this is okay because when somebody like me says something or another woman, we shut them down. People shut them down. So then they think, oh, it's okay. And not enough people are speaking up about it. And it's not just with the places to eat. Now it's like, oh, what kind of car he picks up. There's this whole thing of, oh, if he don't have an iPhone because it's not a blue check mark or a text, he can't afford me. Just the stupid things that we're applying to status and image and all of these other things versus somebody's heart. The average person is not even in America is not even earning 40 grand. So to be able to eat out all the time should be a reward, much less just to be able to spend time with somebody. I get it. You know, we're not talking about obvious things like what you're allergic to or those type of things. It's just the foolishness out there, and just taking time and spending time with the person means more to me than anything. And that's coming from a guy. I don't speak for all men. I speak for probably the ones that don't act like what everybody else image. And it's just hard enough that you gotta fit the salary requirement, the height, their skin tone, what status they got, all these other things that we get hit with. Now we got to go through this foolishness.
So I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to you, Mr. LP. I see Sabrina is back, but one of the things I want to go back to one of Amanda's points, because one of the things that I had put out a couple of weeks ago is what conversations are we having with our daughters? What conversations are we having with our daughters? Because everybody in here is of an age that our parents and our mothers had that conversation with us about, respecting yourself, treating yourself like a lady, having standards, whatever, but not looking down on people and not, making people feel short. I used to tell my son, one of the things that I wrote about in my book, The BS Theory, my first book, is when people say, what are you bringing to the table? What the hell are you bringing to the table? It's a whole meal plan here. You know what I'm saying? You can't put expectations on people, that you don't realistically have your thing. I think one of the most sexiest things that a couple can do is cook a meal together. Okay, the most intimate thing that you can do is be in the kitchen with somebody and share that experience, with them, and then the end result, and then sit down and eat, have a glass of wine, have, a shot of Henny, whatever you want. So I think that's important. But Sabrina, I want to give you the opportunity before I go to Teachy and stuff. What conversations do you think at this point, with all that we see that's going on in the world and the foolishness just keeps coming out, whether it be the list, okay, well, we see girls, y'all know raw silk, I'm gonna piss some people off. We see that our young ladies don't even have standards anymore about how they go outside. I mean, I never even went to the corner store with rollers in my hair, more or less a bonnet and pajamas and all kinds of crazy stuff. What conversation should now we be having with our daughters? And before you chime in, Sabrina, let everybody know that you're watching Sister to Sister. If you have a question or a comment, you could go ahead and put it down in the chat. We can see it and respond to it and definitely engage with you. Go ahead, Sabrina. Can you hear us? She must be still having difficulty. Teachy, I'm coming to you. What conversations you think we should be having with our daughters?
Well, I'll share with you all that one of the recent conversations that I've had with my daughters, because like you, Tracy, I am a little older. It's a good thing black does not crack. Um, and my daughters are mothers themselves now. And I honestly had to repent to them because I really was not a very good example of what a mother having that conversation, because I had my children while I was so young, and then we were growing together, you know? And so it's not until I've had this lived experience that I'm able to go back and share with my daughters, listen, there's some things we need to clear up front. When you decide that you're going to be out there dating, and you know, when you're choosing the one that's going to be your mate, it just really goes back to, it's more than just a feeling. I remember my mother sharing with me when I was about 15 and started to get into boys. She was like, they give you that feeling, don't they? They give you that feeling. Well, I would like to say that if we're thinking about sexuality, there's a lot of eye candy out here, you know? But the feeling is just like you alluded to, Tracy. Did he take the time to even hear anything I've said to him? And depending on who the male is, he's either going to take that information and use it to grow the relationship, or he's going to take that information to start some manipulation. But then ultimately, again, that goes back to what conversations are we having that we walk into these relationships, either if they're casual, they're going to be long-term, that we're self-assured, that we're confident. And so the question about, you know, what are you bringing to the table? Just know that I'm not dinner.
I like that. Amanda, I'm coming to you. What you got to say, hon?
So I don't know if anybody knows, but I have had the charge of raising my niece since she's been 2 weeks old. She's almost 14 now. She'll be 14 in December. So I've had custody of her since she was 2 weeks old. And one of the things that I constantly tell her is that she has to know who she is first. It's very important that you know who you are first. And being a young woman, especially in today's impressionable society, I always tell her, make sure that you know who you are. If you know you don't like something, or you know that you're not feeling something, don't go with it just because you feel like everybody else is.
Right.
Be your own person, be your own individual. You do not have to feel like you have to go with the crowd to fit in if you know that's not something that you want to do. So a lot of the times our young women don't know themselves. And so this is the reason why their expectations or why their thought process is not always sound, because they don't truly really know who they are. And so they're searching for things in other people that they really don't really understand what they're searching for. Hence this list. Because honestly, if you are with somebody that you like, it doesn't matter whether you're at the park, at the bowling alley, the vibe is wherever you are together.
Right. That's right.
Right. You know, I had to learn that for myself, you know, coming of age and having experiences that, yeah, a man could take you to a fancy restaurant and he could be a total piece of crap. He could be an absolute jerk, right? But, you know, a man could sit here and take you to the park because he listened to you, just like you said, Ms. Ross, so that he knows that you like outdoors and you like beautiful spaces and you like art and culture. You know, so, you know, that's why I really try to tell, especially young women I come across, is know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, nobody that you're with is going
Nobody is going to know who you are. Exactly. I totally agree. And you said something that's really, really important. Just those conversations. I mean, to me, when you're first dating, it should be about the conversations. It should be about, so you can't conversate in a club. You can't conversate. You should go someplace. Hey, Bree, mute your phone, hun. You should go someplace where you're able to dialogue and to have conversations and see people in different setting. I mean, I can tell you that I've had friends that have been wined and dined by the best of them, and some of them end up getting knocked up beside their head by the best of them too, or whatever. So again, getting to know a person, having those conversations, and seeing those temperaments, likes, and just like it's kind of like one of the things that I wrote about, right? If you know, like me, I hate cigarette smoke, I have asthma, so I'm not going to date a smoker. Why am I going to date a smoker and then try to change them not to be a smoker after we done started dating? See, the problem is most people fall into lust before they fall into love. Okay. And the lust will always take over, or whatever. And that's okay because we all grown. Okay. Because I tell you, Raw Silk is direct with husband. When I met my husband and he kept calling, I was like, okay, listen, stop all this sniffing around. If you want to hit it, let me know. If I'm with it, we can do this. If not, because I don't have time to waste. I'm at an age now, I don't have time to waste. And I just think that the conversations that we need to be having with our daughter is exactly what yourself. Know yourself. Know your non-negotiables. Know your limits. Because I formerly worked in an environment. I'm looking at young ladies in their early 30s with 13 kids and 5 kids and 6 or 7 different baby fathers. And I'm like, when I look at those things, I'm not looking down on them, but I'm saying what conversations that we had that you're allowing somebody to keep depositing into your soul, because that's what happens every time you bear a child. Someone is deposited into your soul, but left their trash behind, and then you're with the collateral residual damage. Sabrina, are you with us? I think she's having real difficulties. Mr. LP, I'm coming to you because we talk about this list, and we talk about standards.
I'm here. I can hear y'all.
Okay, so Sabrina, I just want to ask you a question. When we were talking about this list, and I know you and I talked about it in great detail or whatever, Amanda raised the point. I want to hear from you. Do you think that there's actually a place that you shouldn't go on a first date? I mean, I could see not going to somebody's house because that's an intimate setting, you know what I'm saying? So I could see that apprehension. But outside of that, is there a off limits place to go on a first date these days?
I mean, you just said it. Don't go back to their house because they're expecting more than just a date. But that list, I'm a boy mom, like I said before. My question is this: these women keep writing these lists about what men should bring to the table. What are you bringing to the table? Because I'm gonna put my sons on game. If I see some BS and I see if she's not or she don't look like she can bring what she's made a list about, I'm gonna point it out. I'm pointing it out. But a place, no, I don't. I don't think there's a limit to it because, like Randy was listening, right? Now, suppose I told the guy I was talking to, I hate Friday nights. I gotta go to Walmart. I gotta go get this. I gotta go get that, and I'm talking about the stuff. And well, I get the same thing on a weekly basis. Now, suppose he said, "Meet me at Walmart," and when I get there, he's doing everything I thought about or said about.
Mhm.
That was the best first date ever. So no, there should be no limit. If the man is listening and he's intentional, then he probably would surprise you with somewhere special to go. But no, I don't think there's no Miss what's her name? Not Miss the girl um and didn't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Uh-huh.
Let's watch and see how long it's going to take for her to find another date. Because now the whole world knows you're bougie, right?
Mm.
Or you think you're bougie.
But is that and that
So
hold that thought, because I want to ask you all this question because I've heard that several times today or this week. Is she really bougie or is she just being bitchy?
Bitchy.
She's
Like
being
I
bitchy
have
and
bougie
ignorant.
tendencies,
Bitchy.
okay?
And
Yeah,
no,
like
there's gonna be a
I
bunch
think
of
it's
guys that's
both.
gonna. No, she's bitchy and ignorant, and there's gonna be a guys that's taking her out because all they
Yeah.
know is like I throw a bunch of money at her, I can hit it and be done with it. That's all.
Mr.
That's what I.
LP, can you put back up our
Pat,
list again? Because you had
go
it up.
ahead, LP.
Put that list back up there. Cause like I was like looking at the numbers and we already know, okay, we don't
Man,
gotta
listen.
rehash it. Number one is the Cheesecake Factory. Applebee's. What did Applebee's do to them? Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, Your House I Could See, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church. They going to hell.
This is
Starbucks,
perfect.
I,
coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, movie night, somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah, a bar for just drinks, the Waffle House, and sports events. Now, I ain't trying to be funny, but you ain't going on the first, second, third, or fourth day. You done eliminated half of the list.
Tripping.
Okay.
Tripping.
Where
Where
do you
can
go?
you go?
Where do you go?
That's
To the
my
closet?
point.
Like Ruth,
Like,
Ruth Chris,
who
the park.
created that list?
It's
Huh.
supposed
Who
to be
created that list? Where did that
some
list come
lonely
from?
single ass women.
exactly, because this is the thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm wondering.
They got
The
gray hair in a
women
lot
that
of
created
places.
this list, how many of them are in? I'm not saying how many of them got a man. I'm saying how many of them are in stable, secure relationships where they can 100% effortlessly say, this is my man, and I ain't sharing him with nobody else. He is my boo and my boo only. Because I guarantee you, when their lonely ass is sitting at home, the real boo is at the Cheesecake Factory getting wine and
And
dine.
yes.
Hello?
There's a lot of women. I'll tell you exactly where it is. There's a lot of women that got a lot of
Yep.
couples, and they got a weekly subscription at their neighborhood spa.
I like, now it makes me see why a lot of times, ladies, when we're out, we see a cluster of women together. It's because they all like, girl, ain't nobody go for my list. So let's all just go out together. Like, what in the total world? But I mean, seriously, okay. We can make light of these things or whatever, but we gotta look at there's some tragedy in here as well, right? Or whatever, because like I say now, I'm not really sure because I always like researching before I do a show. And I'm getting like mixed stories. Like this story may have been like a skit just to see and get this type of conversation going or whatever and stuff. But until it's confirmed, let's just take the guy for instance, right? Okay, just like you humiliated this man, right? You went live. That's another thing. Everything is
Oh,
like a
yes.
live video now, right? So you go live to humiliate this man who you have probably now made the most dateable man in the world right now. Every woman probably wants to go out with this man because he was such a gentleman. He was so respectable. He was nice looking dude, okay? But he was so respectable and even talk to you. I mean, because I can tell you, I have 5 brothers, okay, 5. And I can tell you that if you would have came downstairs after 2 hours, you would have seen where the car used to sit, okay? They'd have been gone, and he'd already been calling somebody else, be like, yo, what's up? What you doing? I'm coming to get you and to holler at you. So what encouragement would you, Amanda, offer to a young man now in this dating situation with all of this list going around and all of these unreachable standards? What would you say?
I would say, like go with your intuition. I think sometimes, because we get lonely, we kind of settle, or we know we're talking to a person and they're not necessarily for us. I feel like he kind of, after talking to her for a little bit, kind of realized that, she was looking primarily for a meal ticket, right? I think everybody kind of got that understanding from her. And it's like, again, guys have to also know when a female is into him. And I think she made it very clear she was not interested in really having a conversation with him. The first thing she did was went live when they pulled up at the Cheesecake Factory
Right.
versus saying, hey, you know what? Could we have a moment to talk about, this for a second? Let me kind of understand where your, thought process of where we came here. And he would have explained to her, well, you were late. And so unfortunately, I had to cancel the original reservations. And so here we are. I really was still interested in moving forward with the continuing the night. So I made alternate arrangements. Yet she decided that she wanted to humiliate him and go on live. So again, to me, that clearly shows she was not interested in him for real. She was interested in what she thought he could do for her.
Agreed.
And men know that.
Agreed. Teaching.
That's it.
What I share with my
Okay.
grandson is that show up authentically, who you are, okay? And you do that from beginning all the way through the end. There's no faking it till you're making it. There's no pretend this is who I am, and then you have to try and figure me out later. Show up 100% who you are from the beginning. And as soon as a young lady starts placing, if you will, demands on you that she can't even meet for herself, you know, an unemployed young lady does not get to tell you where you're going to take her to dinner. You cannot have these high standards and you aren't living them, and then think that by the luck of the draw, you're going to run up on a good man that ultimately, because you don't even know who you are and all of this, you're humiliating this other individual. So, you know, my thing is, again, with some of these, the young ladies, you know, what is real about you? My biggest thing is I'd love to be pretty. I wear makeup. I do hair sometimes. I don't have hair. But if you have never spent time with your natural self and are in love with her, I promise you're not going to be good to anybody.
Absolutely.
So.
And Amanda alluded to that. But think about this, right? Because we always like, as kids and as little girls, we always seen these like fantasy stories, right? And the reality is that there are some people who are accustomed to like being wined and dined and high off the hog, but they thirst for the simple things. They thirst for just to be able to go bowling. They thirst to just to be able to hide away in a, you know, a winery or a cigar shop or something. There's people out there that actually go, God, I wish that I could just be normal. Okay. So how is this a bad thing? Mr. LP, I see you wanted to say something.
I agree with you to a point and things. Actually, I don't disagree with you at all. The problem, other side is that they say they want that. It's like, as a guy, you see on the magazine aisles at the grocery store or whatever store, they say 7 things that women want in a man, and they want these, and they want. You hear all this. I want the simple things. I want this. I want that, or whatever. But then there's a catch. But he has to be this. He has to have this. You have to have 6 feet tall.
Well, when you're talking about white
100
America in magazines, I'm talking about people who actually are affluential, that are used to getting living the high life naturally, like like naturally, like, you know, prince and princesses, A-list celebrities. I'm talking about those type of people who were killed to be able to go to the Cheesecake Factory, who were killed to be able to just go bowling and just have a simple life.
But they want those simple lives and things. But when you go into those certain things, and especially you know that you, unfortunately, some aspects of your life will be is gone. Because you're of a public figure, you should be able to do some things, but it's typically only when you get out of the country, typically out of the U.S., before you can live that life. And that's why you see so many coming to Europe. That many of them go to Canada or Europe because
one of the things that impressed upon me and stuff. And yeah, I watch everything, right? But my girl Amanda. So Amanda took herself out the other day and wined and dined self. You know what I'm saying? She wined and dined self or whatever and stuff. I date myself. There's times that I go into a place and I go through and I go to the wine place and I'm like, what's a good bottle that I should get or whatever? It's not to entertain my company. is for self, okay? And like Tichi said, getting to know yourself is the best thing, because if you can do these things for self, then all of the other things naturally. One of the things, especially with Black women, we have to have been so resilient, okay? I think what infuriates us, and I can speak for us as a whole, is once upon a time, the best that you was getting was maybe some chitlins on a damn tin pan or whatever, and calling it a day and jumping over a damn broom. Now all of a sudden we got all of these high ass standards. I think that we adopt a lot of other nationalities bullshit, plain and simple. Okay, plain and simple, because realistically, the average, and okay, we all are doing on this is doing well enough to be able to go and to be able to travel. You know, it's like my 60th birthday. My husband said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be out of the country." He took me to Jamaica. Okay, everybody doesn't have that luxury. He could have took my ass to Jamaica Avenue and I still would have been happy. I don't understand how we put these parameters up or whatever and stuff. I promise you that, and again, you already know me, Mr. LP. Whenever we do these shows, I'm 100% transparent. Had I not came down on some of my non-negotiables, I would not be married for 15 years right now.
Let me give you something here. I want to share a screen, and hopefully this works, and I do apologize if it doesn't. There's this thing about master dating, okay? That was a video out right now, and that this reporter kept laughing about, but it went viral, and I don't know if any of y'all see this, so I wanted to give this clip for y'all to see.
Sure.
Let's see here. Here we go.
Solo dates, and I'm going to be careful here because this trend is called master dating. TikTok is all over this trend. I can't do it. Because it doesn't just include dates. It might also involve buying yourself some nice gifts. Take yourself to dinner.
Why is he laughing?
Even spending some time with buying yourself some flowers. One expert suggests that your co-anchor keep reading the rest of this, but she won't. She wants me to laugh my way through this. Now you can send yourself flowers in the morning with a card that says, "Can't wait to see you tonight." Come on, man. Is this real? The point is to love yourself as a person and realize you deserve good things.
I'm trying to
I don't get it.
I
Why
don't-
was he
Basically-
laughing?
Well, because
I'm very confused.
I'm
Well, okay.
confused.
Well, okay. Basically, what happened was that it's going on solo dates, buy yourself on your own gift, have a dinner, and order a separate plate. Order 2 dinners. Send yourself your own flowers to say "I love you" from work, and you're a wonderful woman. You know, all these other things that you have somebody else do it, but what a man would normally do. But
And
you
that's
just
why
do it
me and
yourself.
Amanda said we're confused. And I'm gonna come to you, Bree, because I know you're back, and then I'm gonna come to you, Amanda. But I guess for me, I'm confused because way before I had a husband, I bought me sexy lingerie to make me feel good. Way
But you
before
didn't.
that, I would go and stop past the flower shop and buy fresh flowers and keep them around because it was something about looking at that beauty made cheer me up.
Mhm.
But you
during
didn't
the day.
have them mail it to you. You didn't buy.
What
You didn't go
difference
to.
does it make? What difference does it make?
No,
I
have it.
had
No, I don't have an issue. I think it was the issue of making up some dude's name and say, "Hey, whatever," that type of thing. I guess that's what it was.
oh, okay, because I'm like confused. Sabrina, you there?
Mm.
Okay, Amanda, go ahead.
I just want to tell
this
Amanda
got
steak
really
dinner.
tight because I guess these people never ever heard of the word manifest, right? Because my thing is this: if you do those things for yourself, and again, to each his own. If you want to sit here and send yourself a card from a man named Joe, whatever the case may be, do that. There is no rule in the book that says that there is a certain way that you have to do things. And I'm a very, very firm believer in the power of manifestation because, again, there's nothing wrong with you doing those things for yourself. I take myself out all the time. I wine and dine myself, because when I started to approach, getting close to 40, the things that I desired from a man was not is whether or not he could blow a bag at a restaurant. It was, can you pray for me? Can you be there for me spiritually and emotionally? Because the things that are material, I can do for myself. And I think that's where this generation is really screwed up, because they're looking at the things that someone could potentially do for them materially, but on the inside you broken, right? And on any given day when you down and out and you need a prayer, your partner can't do that for you. Instead of you having an issue and y'all talking about it and going to Christ about it, it go to somewhere else. So this generation is really, really lost in what is really designed to help us grow, not only grow individually, but grow together with a partner. And I had to learn that from myself, knowing the difference where, yeah, I could have a man go out and take me out, but then once we go finish going out, he running around in the streets. Versus now I have a man that he would rather go to church. He would rather say, hey, how was your day? Let me pray for you. Let's open up the word. That's the difference. Like, you can't find those type of things, but you can find a man or a woman to do those things where some men call tricking all day long.
Teachy, what do you want to say, Teach?
I want to agree with everything Amanda is saying. In our era, I think what has happened is because no one's had that conversation, young women are doing some really different things, if you will. They are having this expectation now where they said we were too independent. The ladies from the 80s and the 90s, you were too independent. And so now it's flipped. It's like, okay, well, I need a man to do this for me. I remember back in the day when the ladies were sending the flowers to themselves. Some of them were truly doing it for the wrong reason, because you wanted somebody else to think that you had a man that was sending you flowers. But I was real clear, when my flowers showed up at work, they had from me on them, because I wanted flowers to sit on my desk.
Man, that's
it just amazes me, again, not having seen this list, but now hearing some of this feedback. The reason why, when you look at, there's over a 50% divorce rate in this country, again, is because we did not get to know who we are first. And then coming to the table with the other individual, not being willing to negotiate, if you will. I'm not talking about settling because I'm lonely, because I have so many and I have a whole husband, but I have so many girlfriends who they are as old as I am, but they are single and they are happy being single.
Single. Exactly. And then, because what happened is, and one of the things that I learned when I was researching for my first book, is a lot of people get into relationship of I might as well. Like, they think like time is running out, so I might as well just settle for this. I might as well, deal with this. One of the things that I say when we talk about conversations, bless you, Amanda, that we should be having with our daughters is stop giving your wife away. Okay, stop giving your wife away, because what we find out is that we're looking at women who have done everything that is in the position of being a wife, bearing children, building houses, doing all of these things, but you gave it all away. You have no commitment, no ring. I got girlfriends who've been with their boyfriends just as long as I've been married. Okay, stop playing house. Okay, those are the things when we talk about the list that we need to be making. Those are the lists that we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on, or whatever and stuff. The worst thing, and I'm sure each and every one of us have dealt with it, where we've had a girlfriend or a guy friend that has been in a long-term relationship and something happens to them, either they pass away or they get sick, and their other half gets absolutely nothing because there's no commitment, there's no marriage. I have a relative that was with their boyfriend for over 30 something years. And when he died, an ex-wife that had been out of the picture years and years and years ago showed up and took up everything because her children were the next of kin. And this woman gave this man over 30 something of their years. And so I think it's time, well past time, that we start having realistic conversation. Even with my girlfriend, listen, they don't call me raw silk for a reason. Mr. LP can tell you that I am hard on my girlfriends. I have expectations from my friends. I am truthful and transparent with anybody who I allow in my core circle because I
Male
want
or female.
thrive. I want them to succeed, but I also want to, I am that friend that you can come to me on Monday and you could complain to me about something and I'm going to give you my input. But if your ass come to me on Thursday with the same issue and the same crying and the same story, I ain't got shit for you because we done already had this conversation on Monday. Okay. And I just think that if we start holding each other to an accountability and a standard, if you're constantly ending up in relationships and you're constantly ending up with the same results, then you need to do like Amanda and Tichi said, pump your brakes and learn you. It is something about you that is magnet this type of relationships. It is something that you're inviting in or setting yourself up, or where you're shopping. You need to go, if go to a different store, go to a different church, wherever you're meeting these people, whatever it is, it's something that needs to change because you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. And I think that when we talk about this young lady and her list, to me, realistically, I hear hurt,
Trauma.
I hear trauma. Okay. I hear lack of confidence in oneself, that she has now equated herself with a dollar sign. The more you spend, the more value she has, not the meal has. That's what I have. Mr. LP?
We have to also, as women and men, and a lot of people get mad at me because they say, well, we can't go around telling people what to do, but we got into this society. What happened is that our generation did the overreach of the abuse that would happen for the first. So we let things go. And now we got the problems with our millennials and zillennials, Generation Z. We have to stop supporting songs like, Act Like I Love Them and Take the Money and Leave Them. All these songs, all these imageries, all these shows that permeate nothing but status, money, image. And that's why so many women feel this way, that I need this to be happy. And eventually, even when they're, and you see older women in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s acting wild and agreeing with this list. Like, go ahead, girl, get them, girl. But you forgot how it was 30, 40, 50 years ago when you started dating and then the pain that you went through. And I've heard the stories that a young girl will hear. I've heard those stories from my grandmas, my great grandmothers, my aunts, of the pain and things that they had to go through. When you said, I'm going to go there with you. So I've heard those stories where people had the coat hangers things in the backyards in the 50s and 60s. And we see it because of what they chased with this list back. It didn't just start it now. We had those lists where it started. You had to have a serviceman. You had to have a man with this type of status, as a doctor, a lawyer. We had different things per different decade, and it keeps happening over and over again. And unfortunately, it got worse.
That's definitely a good point. Amanda, I see your hand.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna put too much on the music because I'm an old soul and I listen to a lot of older music, from back in the day. Really, what it is the difference is now is the lack of guidance, right? You still have the music being made, but the difference is that you don't have the guidance now that we used to have back in the day. Back in the day, you had grandmothers that used to keep you in line. Back in the day, you used to have a village where people were actually scared if they saw your child out there doing something wrong, saying something
Absolutely.
to them. We
Absolutely.
don't have that now. So that's the difference between what we are seeing now and what we were seeing back then, because there was no issue with somebody seeing you do something and correcting you. And other thing that I want to point out is that because there's a lack of accountability, whoever came up with this list, she came up with this list, but that also goes to show is she didn't come up with this list by herself. So there is other women
Absolutely.
who are supporting
Absolutely.
this list. So there is a bigger problem here.
Absolutely.
Like, how many other women saw this list and was like, yes, sis, that's the one, and like dapped her up or whatever case may be and felt like this was cool. So that just tells you the population of what we're dealing with, where we have a large population of women who have lack of guidance and nobody is sitting them to the side saying, hey, you know what?
But expand on that
Let's
even
figure
more.
out you first,
Expand on that even more, Amanda, because before we even got to the list, the fact that she went live, how many people she knew would chime in and be supportive of what she was doing. Okay, that means that you roll in a circle of women that you had this conversation. Okay, when I look at the queens that's in my village, right, I'm pretty we're like-minded. It's rare that we disagree. We disagree, but we can come to, you know what I'm saying, a happy medium, right, or stuff. I would have been that friend that said, girl, take that damn video down. You're making a damn fool out of yourself. You know what I'm saying? That would have
to
been
look at me.
right.
To look at me.
But that's the, again, I'm hearing, exactly. I'm hearing trauma. I'm healing, because if you think about it, in the beginning of the video, it was all about her. Look at this. Look at this.
Very
Does this look like something that would go to the Cheesecake Factory?
Like, girl,
and you
you're
only
just some
see the
shame.
top of her, but I was like, you ain't the best makeup artist in the world, and you ain't all of that. I'm just being truthful. I'm like, okay, I'm like, you were 3 hours late doing that. I'm like, girl, your ass should have came outside looking like Diana Ross, for 3 hours late to a date, right?
And not saying I have an issue with it because I shop at Shein, but girl, you're just with some Shein. So what about you and that outfit?
That's what I'm saying. What about you? You wasn't
walking
working around. Thank you. You wasn't working around in no designer attire or whatever and stuff. So it's almost laughable. It's almost laughable. And it's like, okay, we have little girls that's coming up. You already know that in our village, imagery and bullying or whatever is at an all-time high, right? And so if we can't trust the older queens to give examples, Mr. LP is right. Okay, if you think about it, right, back in the day, you had one reality show, Flavor of Love, right? Flavor of Love came on and everybody was like, oh, wow, this is some crazy foolishness, right? Now, every single TV is Ratchet TV. Every single TV show is a bunch of women. They're beautiful no matter whether they're doctors, lawyers, or whatever, but they all got a bunch of just mess just going on with them. There's no positive imagery for our girls to look at. We all know we can have this conversation, okay? You can't call me a bitch on Tuesday and then we flying out to Acapulco over the weekend. Okay, we're not gonna be fighting. You can't sleep with my husband and I divorce him and we traveling. Those reality TV is not even reality TV, right? Then we have when this came out, when I start researching things, people say, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And so I just got turned on to the baddies. Okay. And I'm like, so we got these grown ass women now on TV fighting in a house. And I'm like, and y'all getting paid for this. But we done made icons and celebrities out of these people. And even with this young lady, okay, she's gone viral. She's got her
she's got a job now. She's got a reality show coming out.
Exactly. She's getting offers. She's being classified as an influencer. It's scary. It's scary when we talk about, again, the conversations that we need to have with our daughters. And we can't have those conversations when they're 18, 19, 20 years old. We got to start from you are beautiful, you are a princess, you are this. When they're little and stuff, teacher, you already know because you're in the school system. You already know what that looks like. Okay. And if we allow them to be damaged so young, then yeah, they're going to be on social media talking about you can't take me to the Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's or whatever and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I know
and
that I'm coming to you, Mr. LP.
Yeah, like they'll sit there. We have to sit there, and also we have to be careful about the word choice that we speak to each other, both men and women. We talk about get your bag, get your money, girl. So they equate I'm going to do this and do that because one of the things that I hear justify all the time, well, they making money, so I guess it's okay. But then what is it that you're sacrificing yourself as a woman? And I'm a guy that's saying that, and they'll dismiss me. But what are you sacrificing? Because that's not what I want. And that's what you may see all these other guys chasing after you. And it goes and gets to these other things, such as whatever surgeries, the BBLs, or what have you.
Oh my goodness, that's just all like crazy too.
Yeah, there's a video. I think I sent it to you that, these things that we say, okay, reality, and we know it's fake, but they equating it to real life. There's a video out there now that the girl had, similar to what they saw in reality TV, had a threesome with these two guys. Now she doesn't know who the baby daddy is. So now she invited both of them to the baby shower and they just having partying it up. And it's just like, what kind of mess and ratchetness is this? And this is celebrated. And you see it millions. Some are just sharing it just for the kicks, but it's just that it gets that type of attention. And the original person, which was her, is making money off of it. And we selling products. We go the things that the Lena Horns, the Earth. You could be sexy and I'm going to say it like this, and this is from a guy's view. For one guy's point of view, you can be sexy, even nude, all you want, but there's a way to do it. You can look at. I look at Eartha Kitt, Josephine Baker, whoever. It is all these people that did all these different things, but there was class, and they handled themselves like. Don't get me wrong. I've personally met Eartha Kitt. I personally met some other women, high-end women. Veronica Webb, for example. Say like, look, I have standards. I have a certain thing what I want, but it's how you do it. You have to look at the reality. Just because I'm here with status or whatever money, that doesn't mean I only look at this. Because like you said, so that if you only have this, then you're gonna be by yourself forever in a day. You have to open the world is cosmopolitan, and you have to look at that with your point of view and don't put people down to some standard that's just unattainable.
Well, that's very good. Well, like I promised, we are winding down on that hour. I think that we've had really, really good conversation. I want to take this time to give both of my guests. I hope you guys come back and we can do another show about another hot topic and stuff. But just Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself and how, if anybody needs to reach you, what you got going on.
Hey everybody. Well, my name is Amanda. I'm super excited that I was able to join this topic today. A very much needed topic, and I appreciate Raw Silk for bringing these topics, to the culture. I am actually starring in a stage play that is coming up called Drama in the Church, that is also being directed by Ms. Raw Silk. So I am super excited to just journey on that venture. Also doing some movies and additional stage plays that's coming up in 2024. So please come out and support your girl. You can find me on Facebook, Amanda, AMANDA, Delore, DELORE on Facebook. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity, Ms. Raw Silk. It has been an absolute pleasure, and thanks again.
It definitely has, and she was really, really humble about it. She is a phenomenal actress, so please go out and support her, definitely, because, I'm not just saying that because I've had the pleasure of directing her. I've watched her grow in her craft, and yeah, 2024, she's going to take off, definitely. Miss Tichi, tell me what you got going on, Queen.
Listen, I just want to thank you because that the first time that I was privileged to be in your company, I asked for your autograph. I am of the mindset. I am of the mindset that I love me, and I'm pretty high on me. but I'm always so humbled when I have an opportunity to meet other women of greatness. And I'm seeking that out. But one of the things that I'm doing right now is that give back. That, you know, when I have an opportunity to engage with women, men, just Black folks, it's all about, folks, we know our history, we know the greatness that we started out with, but because of all coming to the table with different perspectives and not having a basis for that respect for the different perspectives, is how as a community we got so darn divided. And so my goal is really, hey, look, we all want basically the same thing. I want you to treat me with a level of humanity and civility. I want to love, share some kindness with you. And again, because of my lived experiences, I turned 61 in September. I just want an opportunity where, as I look at my people, to help uplift. So I can be found on Facebook right now under my whole name, Teachie Lanice Pinkney Epps. I'm always trying to offer motivation and encouragement, and looking forward to doing some exciting things with Tracy.
Absolutely. Mr. LP.
Blessings and good evening to you all. I want to say thank you very much, Arthur Tracy Hardy Scott and Raw Silk for all. I want to thank you all. Teachy, thank you so much for joining. Amanda, Steak, I just want to say that. She knows. And I just appreciative, and I'm grateful that we have an honest discussion, and hopefully a lot of people can get something from this. You can reach me obviously at Live and Global Media, but I also wanted to let know that I have our other association company, On One Consulting, that we do social media solutions, operational enhancement, strategic marketing, event production, and more. So we got a lot of things there. And I have a book just released several months back on the validity of alternative investing that can help our community erase that 400 plus year gap in terms of our financial status and improvement. And also I want to direct people to please go to Amazon as well. The author Tracy Hardy Scott's her book, The BS Theory, that covers a lot of these different things. So I hope that people can get something from it, learn and grow. And if you have any other topics or suggestions, please reach out to us, because we'll be more than happy to have these conversations. They're needed. Our world is growing, and we're losing too many people off of foolishness and hurt. And people are dying of loneliness. People are dying from hurt. And I just want us to alleviate these things, and our youth can have a better tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I thank you all. I'm humbled by just giving me a few minutes of your time. I don't consider that robbery. I'm getting ready to launch my book tour launch next month. So my second book is coming out there. Stop Feeding You BS If You Stop Providing the Spoon. Okay, so that is definitely coming out. In intuition. Women, we call it women's intuition. I call it my bullshit detector. Okay. So that's basically what that's about. I've already been contracted by Ashley Stewart's and Very Ashley. I'm going to be doing pop-up women empowerment events there with my nonprofit Restoration of the Queen, which is an empowerment organization for Black women, okay, to uplift them. And through that, we have our financial management piece where we're going to start buying up blocks and investing and teaching how to buy up blocks or whatever, so we could start creating that genuine generational wealth over and over again. So like I said, this was one of my pop-up. Sister to Sister is coming back on the air. I hope you ladies definitely will come back. I am going to be casting for my movie. I'm finally getting it out the ladies' room, okay, which is coming out in 2024. So I'm gonna be casting for that in December. And so I'm just excited. And Teacher, you already know I'm in the community. I'm doing things because for me, I am not anti anybody, but I am all for our people, okay, and getting us back where we need to be mentally, physically, spiritually, and economically. And so I'm looking forward to this ride with all of you. It's not by happenstance that God always moves people into your path. And so again, I thank those that tuned in for watching. I thank you guys, and I'm going to say good night to everybody, Mr. LP.
Okay, no
Everybody.
problem. Thank y'all. Stay here.
Good night, everybody.
Stay here, everybody.
Bye.